Secretary of State arrives in Beijing for emergency talks. President Xi refuses to meet. Chinese foreign minister walks out after 14 minutes. American ambassador gets expelled. Diplomatic hotline goes silent. 72 hours of frantic negotiation produces nothing. Zero progress, zero compromise, zero hope. Then at 4:47 a.m., Chinese Marines storm ashore in Taiwan. American carriers launch aircraft. Missiles fly both directions. Diplomacy didn't just fail, diplomacy became irrelevant. This is the 36 hours when talking stopped and shooting started. May 7, 2025, Taiwan's Strait crisis reaches critical point. Chinese military completes largest exercise in history. 240 warships, 1,800 aircraft, 340,000 troops positioned along Fujian coast. Amphibious vessels loaded, logistics staged. Intelligence intercepts confirm invasion imminent within 96 hours. American military goes to maximum alert. 3 carrier strike groups transit toward Taiwan. B-2 bombers deploy to Guam. Submarines position in South China Sea. But Pentagon hopes diplomacy can still prevent war. Nobody wants this conflict. Casualties will be catastrophic. Economic disruption will be global. Nuclear escalation becomes possible. Every rational actor should choose negotiation over combat. Except rationality stops applying when national prestige is at stake. President initiates emergency call to President Xi on May 7th at 8 a.m. Washington time. Through secure diplomatic channels, routed through State Department, Chinese side accepts call. Presidents speak for 47 minutes. American position is clear. Taiwan independence will not be recognized, but forceful unification will be opposed. Propose interim solution. Maintain status quo. Increase economic integration. Decrease military tensions. Allow time for peaceful resolution. President Xi's response is cold. Taiwan is internal Chinese matter. No foreign interference will be tolerated. Military exercises are routine. American threats are provocative. China's sovereignty is non-negotiable. The conversation ends with nothing resolved, both sides more convinced of their positions. Phone diplomacy fails. What's your assessment? Type A if you think war was already inevitable. Type B if better diplomacy could have prevented it. Secretary of State Antony Blinken requests emergency meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Meeting arranged for May 8th in Geneva. Neutral location. International territory. Away from domestic political pressures. Both delegations arrive with extensive preparations. American team includes Assistant Secretary for East Asia, Deputy National Security Advisor, CIA Director, Joint Chiefs, Vice Chairman, 23 total staff. Chinese delegation is similarly sized. Both sides understand stakes. This might be last chance to prevent catastrophic war. Negotiations begin at 9 a.m. Geneva time. Collapse by 9:14 a.m. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi opens with prepared statement. 11 minutes long. Read from script. China's position has not changed since 1949. Taiwan is province of China, temporarily separated by historical circumstances. Reunification is inevitable. Recent Taiwanese statements suggest independence movement. This cannot be tolerated. Military action is defensive response to separatism. International community must respect Chinese sovereignty. United States has no legitimate interests in Taiwan. American interference is illegal, violates multiple UN resolutions. China demands American withdrawal from region, cessation of arms sales to Taiwan, recognition of Chinese sovereignty. Nothing less is acceptable. Secretary Blinken responds with American position. Taiwan Relations Act obligates American support. Democracy must be defended. Freedom of navigation in international waters is non-negotiable. American commitments to allies are ironclad. Proposed compromise. China publicly reaffirms one China policy. Taiwan privately commits to no independence referendum. America reduces but doesn't eliminate military presence. Economic integration increases. Everyone saves face. Everyone avoids war. Blinken speaks for 8 minutes, presents detailed proposal, offers multiple off-ramps, emphasizes mutual benefits of peace. Don't miss how this diplomatic failure leads to military confrontation. Subscribe now for complete analysis. Wang Yi's response is immediate and dismissive, stands from chair, gathers papers, speaks one sentence. China's sovereignty is not subject to American conditions. Walks out. Entire Chinese delegation follows. Meeting lasts 14 minutes total. American team sits in stunned silence. Worst case scenario just happened. No negotiation, no compromise, no dialogue. Chinese position is absolute. Take Taiwan by force or accept permanent division. No middle ground, no face-saving compromise, no diplomatic solution. Secretary Blinken calls President immediately. Reports complete failure. Recommends preparing for military conflict. President authorizes final diplomatic attempt through back channels. CIA Director William Burns activates contacts in Chinese intelligence. Relationships built over decades. Unofficial channels, deniable conversations. Perhaps professional intelligence officers can find solutions. Politicians cannot. Burns reaches out to Chinese Ministry of State Security Vice Minister Chen Yixin. Old contact from previous negotiations. Trusted counterpart. They arrange secure video call for May 8th at 11 p.m. Beijing time. Conversation lasts 37 minutes. Burns presents informal proposals, trading concessions, timeline adjustments, face-saving mechanisms. Chen listens carefully, responds thoughtfully. But conclusion is same. Political leadership has decided. Military action is ordered. Intelligence services cannot override. Chen warns Burns personally. Invasion begins within 48 hours. American forces in region will be attacked if they interfere. This is friendly warning from professional to professional. War is coming. Prepare accordingly. American ambassador to China. Nicholas Burns requests meeting with Chinese Foreign Ministry on May 9th. Denied. Requests meeting with Premier. Denied. Requests any official contact. Denied. Instead, receives diplomatic note at 2 p.m. Beijing time. Ambassador is declared persona non grata. Must leave China within 72 hours. Embassy staff reduced to essential personnel only. All diplomatic programs suspended. Cultural exchanges canceled. Educational partnerships terminated. Every connection between nations is severing. This is not temporary disagreement. This is preparation for war. Ambassadors get expelled before invasions. Historical pattern is clear. Austria-Hungary expelled Serbian diplomats in 1914. Germany expelled Polish diplomats in 1939. Iraq expelled Kuwaiti diplomats in 1990. Now China expels American ambassador. Next step is military action. This level of diplomatic analysis requires extensive research. Subscribe to support our detailed coverage. United Nations Security Council convenes emergency session on May 9th. American Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield presents evidence of imminent invasion. Satellite imagery shows 240 Chinese warships in attack formation. Amphibious vessels loaded. Logistics staged. Electronic intercepts of Chinese military discussing H-hour and landing zones. Ambassador presents for 23 minutes. Proposes Security Council resolution with 3 provisions. Demand immediate de-escalation. Establish 60-day cooling-off period. Offer UN-mediated negotiations with international observers. Resolution distributed in all official languages. Gives China face-saving off-ramp. Allows pause for diplomacy. Doesn't demand surrender of claims. Reasonable proposal under crisis circumstances. China vetoes immediately. Russia vetoes in solidarity. Resolution fails before debate even starts. Chinese Ambassador Zhang Jun gives speech justifying veto. Internal matter. No international jurisdiction. Taiwan is Chinese territory. UN has no authority. American proposal is interference. violates Chinese sovereignty. China will not be bound by foreign restrictions on reunification timeline. Speech lasts 23 minutes, makes no concessions, offers no alternatives, just absolute rejection of any compromise. Other Security Council members express concern. Britain, France, Japan all speak about maintaining peace, respecting international law, avoiding catastrophic conflict. Nobody proposes anything actionable. Nobody threatens consequences. Words without force. Diplomacy without teeth. What would you propose as final diplomatic solution? Comment your ideas below. American diplomatic hotline to Beijing goes silent on May 9th at 8:47 p.m. Washington time. Direct secure communications channel, installed after 1979 normalization. Used during every crisis for 45 years. Allows instant contact between leaders. Prevents miscalculation. Reduces escalation risks. The line is tested daily. Always functional. On May 9th, it stops working. American operators attempt contact. No response. Technical staff check equipment. All functional. Problem is, on Chinese end, they disconnected. Deliberately. Hotline failure is deliberate political choice. China doesn't want crisis communications, doesn't want de-escalation mechanisms, doesn't want off-ramps. Decision is made, invasion is ordered. Communication would only complicate execution, so communications cease. Pentagon receives intelligence on May 9th at 11:23 p.m. Eastern Time. NSA intercepts Chinese military communications. Orders to amphibious units. Prepare for combat operations. H-hour designated as 4 a.m. May 11th Taiwan time. Target beaches identified. Landing zones assigned. Air support coordinated. Artillery preparation scheduled. This is detailed operational planning. Not exercise, not posturing. Actual invasion orders. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan wakes President at 11:47 p.m. Emergency briefing. Chinese invasion begins in 28 hours. All diplomatic efforts have failed. Military options are now only options. If you're following this crisis timeline carefully, hit that subscribe button now. President convenes National Security Council at 12:30 a.m. May 10th. Situation room beneath White House. Vice President Harris. Secretary of State Blinken. Secretary of Defense Austin. Chairman Joint Chiefs General Brown. NSA Sullivan. CIA Director Burns. DNI Haynes. Meeting begins with intelligence update. CIA confirms H-hour as 4 a.m. May 11th, Taiwan time, less than 16 hours away. Chinese amphibious forces boarding ships now. Joint Chiefs present American posture. 3 carrier strike groups, 23 surface combatants, 8 submarines, 184 carrier aircraft, 67 land-based fighters, 12 B-2 bombers, facing concentrated Chinese force of 240 ships and 1,800 aircraft. Numbers don't favor America. Technology does. Secretary of State reviews diplomatic failures. Presidential call failed. Foreign minister talks collapsed. Back channels warned but couldn't negotiate. Ambassador expelled. UN vetoed. Hotline disconnected. Every avenue exhausted. Nothing worked. Military action is only remaining option. But means casualties. Ships hit. Aircraft shot down. Sailors killed. Question is whether Taiwan is worth that cost. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin presents military options. Option 1. Defend Taiwan directly. Position American forces between Chinese fleet and Taiwan. Dare China to attack. Accept casualties if they do. Fight conventional war. Option 2. Embargo Chinese shipping. Naval blockade. Strangle Chinese economy. Avoid direct combat, but impose massive costs. Option 3. Limited strikes on Chinese staging areas. Destroy invasion capability before it launches. Preemptive action based on intelligence. Option 4. Do nothing. Let China take Taiwan. Preserve American forces. Accept loss of ally. Abandon containment strategy. Each option has catastrophic downsides. No good choices exist. President selects option 1. America will defend Taiwan. Position carriers between China and island. Forward deploy fighters to Taiwanese air bases. Activate missile defenses. Make clear American commitment. Force China to shoot first if they're truly committed. Accept combat if necessary. But make China pay the diplomatic cost of firing first shot. Military orders go out at 3:47 a.m. USS Ronald Reagan Battle Group transits Taiwan Strait. USS Carl Vinson positions east of Taiwan. USS Abraham Lincoln moves to Philippine Sea. Total of 23 American warships, 184 aircraft, 18,000 sailors. Positioned between Chinese invasion force and Taiwan. This is deterrence through presence. If China wants Taiwan, they'll have to kill Americans first. Your engagement directly impacts our content strategy. Comment your analysis and share this breakdown. Chinese military detects American movements immediately. Satellites show carrier positions. Electronic intercepts track communications. Submarine pickets report American ship movements. Chinese Eastern Theater Command faces decision. Abort invasion because Americans are present. Lose face. Admit American deterrence works. Accept that Taiwan remains separate, or proceed with invasion. Accept that Americans will fight. Prepare for combat against superpower. General Li Shangfu commands Eastern Theater. He calls Beijing for guidance. Speaks with Central Military Commission. Conversation lasts 8 minutes. Orders are clear. Proceed with invasion. Engage American forces if they interfere. Chinese sovereignty is non-negotiable regardless of cost. May 11th, 3:47 a.m. Taiwan time. Chinese amphibious fleet departs Fujian ports. 87 landing ships, 340 landing craft, carrying 47,000 Marines. Supporting them are 34 destroyers, 18 frigates, 12 submarines, 140 fighter aircraft overhead. This is largest amphibious operation since D-Day. Chinese fleet forms up, sets course for Taiwan. Distance is 100 miles. Transit time at 12 knots is 8 hours. Expected landing at noon. American satellites detect departure immediately. Alerts flash through command structure. USS Ronald Reagan is 40 miles from Chinese fleet track. Collision course. Intercept inevitable. Captain orders battle stations at 4:02 a.m. Chinese fleet continues toward Taiwan. American fleet maintains position. Neither side deviates. Course convergence in 90 minutes. At 5:17 a.m., Chinese Type 055 destroyer Nanchang achieves fire control lock on USS Ronald Reagan. SPY-6 radar on American cruiser USS Chancellorsville detects the lock. This is hostile act. Prelude to attack. Reagan's captain requests permission to engage defensively. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas must decide. Shoot first or wait for Chinese to fire. Rules of engagement allow defensive action, but shooting starts war. Thomas delays 34 seconds, longest 34 seconds of his career, then authorizes defensive engagement. Was diplomacy failure inevitable, or did both sides choose war over compromise? Leave your assessment below. USS Chancellorsville launches SM-6 missile at 5:18 a.m. Target is Nanchang. Missile launches on plume of smoke, accelerates to Mach 3.5, covers 40 miles in 90 seconds. Chinese destroyer attempts defense. Launches HQ-9 interceptor, fails to achieve kill. SM-6 penetrates defense, impacts Nanchang's superstructure. 140-pound warhead detonates, destroys bridge, kills captain and 23 crew. Ship lists, fires burn, Nanchang is mission killed. First blood in USA-China war. Diplomacy didn't just fail, diplomacy became distant memory. Now only question is how many die before someone tries talking again. Chinese response is immediate. Every ship in invasion fleet launches missiles. YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, 134 total. Targeting American carrier group. American Aegis systems activate. SM-6 and SM-2 missiles launch. Electronic warfare activates. Phalanx systems spin up. The largest naval battle since World War II begins in Taiwan Strait. Because diplomacy failed. Because neither side would compromise. Because national pride mattered more than peace. Because 36 hours of talking couldn't prevent war that decades of tension made inevitable. Total casualties in first hour exceed 3,400. American destroyer USS Shiloh sinks. 280 killed. Chinese frigate Yancheng breaks apart. 240 dead. Aircraft from both sides shot down. Pilots ejecting over ocean. Some rescued. Most drown. Ships burning. Missiles flying. Bombs falling. This is what happens when diplomacy fails. When compromise is impossible. When national interests are irreconcilable. War becomes not choice. War becomes inevitability. To nations watching this unfold, learn this lesson carefully. Diplomacy works only when both sides want it to work. When positions are absolute. When compromise means losing face. When national survival seems at stake. Talking solves nothing. Power matters. Will matters. Sacrifice matters. China wanted Taiwan more than peace. America wanted credibility more than avoiding war. Both sides chose violence over concession. Both sides will pay in blood for that choice. Diplomacy failed not because wrong words were said. Diplomacy failed because neither side would accept any outcome except total victory. If you followed this entire diplomatic collapse, you understand how wars actually start. Subscribe for continuing coverage. 3 final questions demand consideration. First, could different negotiators have achieved different outcomes? Second, was Taiwan worth fighting for? Third, at what point does defending principle require accepting catastrophic costs? These questions haunt every conflict, every war, every diplomatic failure. Skilled negotiators tried, failed. Messages were clear, failed. Compromise was offered, rejected. Back channels were used, warned of war but couldn't prevent it. Sometimes nations choose war knowing full costs. Sometimes national identity is non-negotiable. Sometimes peace requires surrender that no government can accept. The diplomacy failed. The war began, and historians will debate for decades whether different approach could have changed outcome, whether more time would have helped, whether different concessions might have worked. But in moment of crisis, in those 36 hours of frantic negotiation, with invasion fleet loading, with carrier groups transiting, with missiles being fueled, with troops preparing, diplomacy had no chance. Momentum toward war was unstoppable. Positions were too far apart. Stakes were too high. Pride was too strong. And so talking stopped. Shooting started. And thousands died because 2 superpowers couldn't find way to back down without losing face. That's the tragedy of diplomatic failure. Not that wrong things were said, but that right things didn't matter. When national survival meets national pride, diplomacy becomes ritual before inevitable violence. The failure was complete. The war began, and peace became distant memory as missiles flew and ships burned and sailors died in waters that diplomats couldn't keep calm.